Hello, and oh my gosh, I've been waiting so long to talk about this. So since I published The Flip Side of Sad last year, I can't believe it's almost been a year already, that's insane, on Amazon and Kindle, I've always wanted to put it on Barnes & Noble as well. It's something I honestly just never got to doing, and I finally realized that I was serious about doing it, and then the roadblocks came. There were weeks worth of issues with the formatting and the book cover and the file and all kinds of freaking things that I've finally worked out, which means The Flip Side of Sad is finally being sold on BarnesandNoble.com in both paperback and ebook form. Now, the Nook version of The Flip Side of Sad is basically the same as the Kindle, but the paperback has a few differences. For starters, I've noticed that the paperback of the Barnes & Noble version prints darker. The cover prints darker for some reason than this is the Amazon version. Yeah. You can even tell, that's quite a difference for some reason. I don't know why. It might just be the way that Barnes & Noble prints, I don't know. But yeah, the cover prints a bit darker on Barnes & Noble compared to Amazon. But of course, it's the same exact cover, same exact back cover. However, the binding. I had a lot of issues formatting the cover for Barnes & Noble, and it ended with me having to use their binding and not the binding that I've been using for the book. So basically, the Amazon version, the binding, is this font. So it says The Flip Side of Sad, Ashley Amber, and it's in the same font as the cover. The Barnes & Noble version, I had to go with one of Barnes & Noble's fonts. It's kind of just like a plain old font. Also, this is my proof copy that just came today, so there's a couple of printing issues, like the binding being printed off-center. But I fully expect future sold copies to be printed correctly. Working with Barnes & Noble Press, it was difficult. Honestly, it was a lot more difficult than, I know people have their problems with Amazon and KDP and stuff, but it was a lot more difficult working with Barnes & Noble Press. Like, it's just, they make it harder to publish your book, honestly. Like, honestly, formatting this cover was horrible. It was, like, getting this done was super easy. This is the Amazon version. Super easy. Ebook was easy. Everything with Barnes & Noble was just a problem after problem, and it wasn't a fun experience, if I'm being honest, sorry. But, I still love Barnes & Noble, and the fact that this is finally on there after almost a year, I can't complain. A couple other differences you'll see is that, again, the font is different. Usually the font, when it says the chapters, there's only 2 chapters, but the chapter font is usually the same font as the cover, Barnes & Noble font. Also, some of the illustrations are placed in differently. So basically, for example, this turtle illustration, it's usually in a different, it's on the same page. Every illustration is basically on the same page. They just had to be placed in different spots because of, again, formatting issues with the file. But same exact cover, same exact story, same exact price, just now on BarnesandNoble.com. Oh, and did I mention new copies of The Flip Side of Sad include the opening pages of the sequel? Yep, any new copies of The Flip Side of Sad sold both on Barnes & Noble, on Amazon, Kindle, Nook, whatever you may get it on, they now include the opening pages of The Flip Side of Sad sequel. But that's not all. Not only can you read the first 4 or 5 pages of the sequel, but it also includes the sequel's release date that I have not announced yet, the title, and the cover. So any new copies of The Flip Side of Sad sold right now, you will get a sneak peek at the cover of the sequel before anyone else. And I promise the sequel is going to be announced really, really soon, but until then, if you want to know anything, get yourself a copy of this one. So the links are in the description if you want to pick up a copy of The Flip Side of Sad on BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon, whichever you prefer. You can have yourself a little read-through of this book and then get all the sneak peeks of the sequel before I announce it. So yeah, again, I'm so happy that this book is finally on BarnesandNoble.com, and obviously the sequel is going to be sold on BarnesandNoble.com as well now that I've figured it all out. Also going to be on Amazon, of course. So yeah. And if you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe and hit like if you liked. I try to make new videos every week, and the next time you hear from me on here may just be me announcing the flip side of Sad sequel. And if you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe and hit like if you liked. Crap. I haven't done this in a while.